Hello everyone, welcome back to AI Vidya. In the last few videos, we have studied about the linear regression, the training process of linear regression, and the working of gradient descent algorithm. We also have seen about the effect of learning rate on the training process of linear regression. In this video, we are going to look at the Python code and the few functions of SK library which is used for creating the linear regression model. We are also going to see the code on the real world data set for predicting the prices of house based on different features. We are going to look at these features. We will also look at the error plot which is discussed at the end of this video. So let's begin with a brief overview of the data set. The data set I have taken is from the Kaggle. I have provided the link. I also uploaded this data set in the Google Drive. You can check from there also. The data set contains 18 columns and 4600 rows. From these 18 columns, one column consists of prices, that is we called as our dependent variable, while the 17 columns are called as the independent variables. At first, we are going to import the required library. The first library, that is NumPy. We have seen this library in the few videos, in the earlier videos. We also imported the pandas and the matplotlib. You can see I have imported three new libraries from sklearn. The first one is linear model. From this we are going to import the linear regression class, which we are going to use for creating our model. And from model selection we have imported this train test split. We are going to divide our data set into training part and testing part. We are going to see what is this training part and what is this testing part. And the last one is cross val predict. It is used to find the error between the actual value and the predicted value. For these functions we have imported these three new classes. Now at first we are going to load our data set and going to print the first 5 rows of the data set. Now I'm going to run this code and it shows like this. You can see these are the 18 columns, and the first column, this is the second column, that is price, which is going to show you the price of the houses, and these are the output. Now I'm going to print the shape of the data, that is using dot shape property, and it shows that it has 4600 rows and 18 columns. Now I am making the list of important features which is needed to be included in the training set. I am going to discard few of them, like this is street, the city, the state, zip, the country, and the another one is this one, the date part. So I have included these feature list, and I am going to take this from the main data, that is from this data frame. Now again I am printing the shape. Now we have only 10 columns. Next we are going to drop the missing values from the column. Like if any data set contains some few missing values, such as NaN value, that is not defined values. So I'm going to drop these values using drop any function of pandas. And then again we are printing the shape. Since this data set contains no missing values, so the shape remains same. Now I'm going to get the statistical summary of the dataset. This will tell us like what for the price column, what is the maximum price of a house, what is the minimum price of the house, what is the standard deviation of the prices, what is the 25th percentile, what is 75th percentile, and the median. So this prints the statistical summary of the whole dataset. But for our purpose, it is only required to print this one. So we can also change it to somewhat like this. If we want to print the properties of only this part, so we can use this price. We can run this code and we get only the price. We can only get the statistical summary for the price column only. Now I am going to divide our data set into two parts. That is, one is independent variables and one is dependent variables. So here we have only one dependent variable, that is the price column, and others are independent variables. So using the slicing operation, we are going to take the independent variables into the data frame X and the dependent variable into the data frame Y. After that, as I told you, since we are training our model, we also need to test our model on that data also. So for this purpose, we are going to divide our data set into two parts. The first part is called as training part, and the another part is called as testing part. For the training part, we are going to input this data into our linear regression model, and on the basis of trained model, we are going to test the trained model on the test part. So this is the code, like how you can divide our dataset into two parts, that is training part and testing part. So this function takes the first two arguments as x, that is the this independent variables. The another one is y, that is dependent variable. The test size specifies the size of the testing part. If we are mentioning it as 0.2, this means that it divides the whole dataset into the ratio of 8:2, or we can say that 80% or 20%. If we are mentioning it as 3, then it will going to divide our dataset as 30% and 70%, where 30% goes to testing part, and 70% goes to training part. So I keep it as 0.2 only. And the random state, this argument does not have much importance, but when it comes to running the program again and again, then we need to set the random state to some value, to any value, whatever we want. It will prevent the splitting different. Like if we are performing or running our program again and again and we don't specify this argument, then the splitting will be different every time. So to keep the splitting constant, we are going to specify random state to some value. Now I'm going to print the shape of this, as you can see the shape. Now we are going to create the object of the linear regression class, that is linear regression equals to LR, and then we are going to fit our training data. So how we fit our training data, as LR equals to LR dot fit, where the first one is LX dot train, that is independent variables, and other is Y dot train, that is dependent variable from the training part. Now as I have told you, we are going to get a vector of weights. These are those weights. You can see these are the coefficients. We also call this as W0, W1, W2 and W3. Now I am going to make prediction on the test part. Then you can see here x dot text, we are going to pass x dot text into this predict function of linear regression class, and then we are going to predict the prices. So these are the prices which we are getting. It has this shape as of y test, you can see. Now the main part, that is plotting. We are going to plot the difference between the y test and the predicted value for the y test. So if our prediction is right, this difference must be very close to 0 or nearly equals to 0. So I have shown you using the plot function. You can see this difference comes nearly close to 0. For few points this difference is might high. So for these points may be the outlier for our data set. That's why we are getting these such high values for the error. But for most of the points you can see that it is nearly close to 0. Now we are going to fit our regression model without B. As I told you, we also have a term that is B or W0. By default, the linear regression class also finds that W0. So if we don't want to include that W0, then we need to specify our fit intercept equals to false. So again, I'm performing the same operation. I'm going to use the fit function, and then I'm predicting, and then we are going to plot this error. This is called as the error plots. This is called as the error, as it shows the error. You can see this is the error term. So it is nearly same as this one. It is nearly same as without intercept and with intercept. For very large data set, we can have different plot for including this V or not including this V. So for here we are getting the same plot. Now we have reached to the end of this video. In the next video, we are going to look at regression and some other types of regression, or maybe some classification problems. So if you like my video, then please like it, share it and subscribe to AI Vidya. If you have any query, then drop your query in the comment section. I will definitely answer them. Till then, thank you.